So did you formalize a succession plan and an ability, to give you that ability, or did it just happen organically because you had the right people, they were, engaged, you knew what you wanted? Talk a little bit about that process because I tend to think some leaders believe that they have done that, but they haven't been as formal about it to communicate to other people the expectations and to formally change responsibilities and document it and communicate it consistently. So just give a feel for how you did it.
So formalize is still forthcoming.
Hmm.
And part of that is we haven't figured out exactly what the offering should be in whole, or offerings, I should say, and what they should look like. And is there going to be a separate entity? Or are we just going to put it all under Summit Group? We're still working through a few of those pieces, and there's a
Got it.
trademark coming too. So we're just dialoguing, but there everyone's in on it. So
Yeah.
the separation, everyone just steps up. I would like to say I've got a formal plan and here's how you do it. I am lucky because we talk about it and I have great people and they get excited for me. When I tend to feel like I haven't been available, that's when I know, oh, I gotta stop. I need to pause and re-engage because I'm leaving them behind a little bit. So they will ask questions or I will tell them where we are, what I'm doing, and ask what they think. So we're at the informal stage. There will become a formal process probably later in the year. I was thinking around October. It might come sooner than then, where we can decide, okay, how are we going to piece these together? What is this going to look like? Am I an effective CEO for this stage in time? What if I love doing this and I want to be in charge of this? How do we reshape it within our team so that I can do this? Is that the best idea? What I don't want to be is someone who's not responsive and not present for my team, because those two things are very important to me. And, I'm the one, if someone says I got to call someone at 2 in the morning, that's me. I'm the one who picks up the phone and they can reach. And I never want that to change because that's the kind of leader I am. Is that the best leader for where we go from here? I can step into any shoes, but so can probably other people on our team. So I want to be
Yeah.
very mindful of that and what that looks like. So it'll be a discussion we probably will have in July in looking forward. I don't feel like it'll be difficult because I feel like we're all on board and things we have very different skill sets amongst us and things can tend to just shift, and
Yeah.
we've been really blessed that way. So, and we're all in for what's best for the people we serve.
That's awesome. And you guys are going to, so I'm going to have you back on because I should have known that when you said you're in a rebuild stage, it really sounds like it is a formation stage. And that's very smart of you, right? Because you want to nail it before you scale it. You got to get that right.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense. I'm sure you're doing some test and learn process and, working through that. So yeah, so I'm going to have you back when you
Sounds
get to that stage and we're going to
fantastic.
find out how it works. Okay, so now let's shift the perspective because you've been in business for a long time. You've built your business. Now you're going through this process. Um, I'm curious what have you learned and what is the most important things you would suggest should be on our leaders list for the other CEOs that are running companies and scaling their businesses?
Check your ego at the door and commit to making yourself better. We come in with expertise and they're probably very good if we're going to start a company and we're going to go, but there's so much that we need to learn. So I really believe, I don't think I was a high ego person, maybe just in defense, just pretending that I could. But
Yeah.
I do see it often enough to go, ooh, you got to check the ego at the door. Because if you check the ego at the door, you learn more, you're more self aware, and you're willing. That willingness is really important. There are a lot of leaders who think they've made it, and they have, depending on what your markers are. but that doesn't mean that that's it. There's more to learn, and I say with, especially two newer generations coming in who have been here really, but they're coming into the leadership positions. That's going to change things, and we need to adapt to that, and we still need to pour into people. I think mentorship died a long time ago. I don't want to blame Gen X. I love Gen X. I am Gen X, but I feel like it fell off a little bit, and we need to pull it back in and make that a normal thing that we do as leaders. So set yourself aside, focus on learning constantly. It's really important. You don't need to know all the answers, but you need to know where to get the answers.